Dean is an attorney at the Liberty Justice Center, and he's representing the teen who was suspended at a North Carolina high school for using the term illegal alien. And Dean joins us now. Dean, good to have you with us, and I just want to say thank you for all you're doing to do the right thing. And that school, in my opinion, and I'm just going to say this at the outset, is arrogant beyond belief and condescending to that student, his rights, and his also the respect that he should have from that school. It's just, to me, a terrible moment for that school and what they've done to that kid. Bring us up to date, if you will, on where the case stands and where you think you're headed.
Just a quick background. My client, Christian McGhee, was a sophomore at the high school. He asked a question about a class discussion. He had returned from a bathroom pass. The class was talking about aliens. He was catching up on his lesson from the bathroom, and he raised his hand and said, "Are we talking about space aliens or illegal aliens who need green cards?" And long story short, the assistant principal told him that it was a racial slur equivalent to the worst racial slur you can imagine, or at least deserving the same punishment, and suspended him for 3 days out of school, prohibited him from participating in track, and under the school's policy, he had no right to appeal. So we filed a lawsuit in federal court in the Middle District of North Carolina. It's to vindicate his First Amendment right to say the phrase without punishment, and also his right to due process, because this school told him, "We're going to brand you a racist," and then told him there's zero opportunity to appeal. You're just kicked out of school for 3 days, can't play in the most important track meet of the year, and there's nothing you can do about it. So we've filed the lawsuit, and last week, an exciting development is that we filed a preliminary injunction motion, which is our request to the court to say, this boy needs his record cleared, not just at the end of the case, but temporarily as the case is proceeding, so that he can move on with his life, return to school with a clear record, apply to colleges when the time comes. And that's where things stand.
Yeah, that'll be the next issue in the woke community. If you fail to be properly woke yourself in being offended, then you will be subject to the same censorship, the same, I guess, what would you call it, shunning by the woke element, because you aren't sufficiently sensitive and you are triggered not as sensitively as you should be. I mean, that's really ludicrous, is it not?
Ludicrous is as good a word as any to describe the situation. And I'll just tack on a few more points that show how ludicrous this all is. You know, during this conversation, there's a point in which I've already mentioned that the assistant principal said, compared it to the N-word, and that he said it would be unfair to students who said the N-word and got punished if I didn't punish your son equally. And what we've learned, though, is that this is a top-down problem at this school, because when Leah McGhee, my client's mother, started making noise about this issue, two of the board members, instead of responding to her emails, to the plea of a mother trying to stand up for her child, they actually looked up her arrest records from around 14 years ago. My client's mom was arrested 14 years ago, and started spreading her mugshot around the community to community leaders as an effort to preemptively smear her and attack her character. Now, my client's mom has a really kind of beautiful redemption story. She arrested for drugs. She now does speeches on addiction, has been appointed by county boards, really has done prison ministry. But they tried to use that to attack my client's mother instead of just apologizing and reversing the suspension. And that's when we sued.
The purpose of a school is to educate, but it sounds like that's going to be difficult in a school that has so much ignorance in the leadership of the school, and a student who only is asking a reasonable question, and the other members of the class unoffended, but now disgusted by the ignorance of those from whom they're supposed to be learning. That's a tragedy in and of itself. Dean McGee, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. Everything that you and Liberty are doing, as always. Thanks for being with us.